Good morning, everybody. It's a Big K Experience and the Spilt Milk Show with the B. And today we're going to be talking about how being inquisitive and asking the right questions might not be the right thing. How to find happiness. Here's a stupid way to get work-life balance. Worst roofing company ever. And I found a couple in their 70s that was lost in the forest, and it's an unbelievable story. All coming up. Alright, so check this out. I did one of those Facebook things where it says like, which movie character are you? And I hit it and it came up with James Bond. Yes. James Bond from Spectre. Better believe I celebrated myself. Because obviously James Bond is awesome and he's 007 and it says sexy and he knows it and some other stuff. Dangerous, lives dangerously. You know, some cheesy stuff about James Bond. So I'm feeling all kinds of good about myself. And if you know me, whenever I'm really proud of something I've done, I share it with everybody. So, not only did I share it on Facebook, but I took a screenshot of it and sent it to all my friends. Which then I had this one lovely friend that I had sent it to, and it goes, well, what kind of questions did you have to answer? How does it know? And I was all, I didn't have to answer any questions. I just hit the button and it came up with James Bond. And she's like, but if you didn't ask any questions, how does it know? I was all, because it just knows, Ma. Like, Facebook knows what it's doing. And it measured me up to James Bond. I don't argue with it. She's like, all right, well, I guess. But I mean, if you didn't have to answer any questions, like, how would it know anything about you? How would it know you're like James Bond? I was like, look, check. I don't appreciate you questioning the process. I don't appreciate you questioning the validity of this algorithm, but it worked, all right? It knows what it's doing. I noticed when I asked you, hey, do I look effed up in this picture? Quick, on ball. Yes, you do. Am I like James Bond? All of a sudden, you have 1,000 questions. Which was really funny and really adorable. I totally dug that she kept asking me that because she wasn't trying to be like insulting. She was literally trying to find out how it related me to James Bond. She doesn't get on Facebook ever, so it was really cute. Every time I read it, I started laughing, and I was telling my friends about it, and they started laughing. But it's all about questioning anything that goes on around you. Being inquisitive is a great thing. I think it's one of those things that makes the world go around. Because if we don't ask questions, how are we going to know how things work? Or why people are feeling the way they are, or what we believe in and if it's true. There's always that standard I have for anything I believe in. I have to understand. I don't blindly believe in anything, but don't get me wrong, there doesn't have to be solid facts, just an understanding of it. Like, I have to assume that I know what I'm thinking and I know what I believe in, and if someone asks me about it, I can answer it without just saying, oh yeah, because I just do, because I just do. Because I just don't do anything. I have to know about it, and sometimes to my detriment. So I ask a lot of questions. Sometimes some uncomfortable questions, for sure, but I mean, there's questions nonetheless. So it wasn't like she was trying to knock me down or say I wasn't like James Bond, which I'm sure she definitely doesn't agree that I'm like James Bond, but nobody really did. Guys, thanks. That's sad. But it's the principle of it. So it was really cool. It was cute. I loved it. There, as you can see, I showed you the image, so you can see how relatable I am to Bond. And that's the picture that I asked her if I looked effed up in. So, anyways, let's get to some stories.
Did you know Valley View Medical Center's mission is making communities healthier? We do that by offering a spectrum of services locally. Procedures for gastroenterology, orthopedic, ear, nose, and throat, pulmonary, women's health, and more are performed at the medical center. Whether inpatient or outpatient, you can confidently stay close to home for your joint replacement, colonoscopy, or ENT procedures. To learn more, go to valleyviewmedicalcenter.net.
So you're in the search of happiness, right? The pursuit of happiness. It is one of those things that I'm always in the pursuit of. And how do I become happy? By becoming better as a better person. And I didn't know that was the actual way I should go about it until I met this lady, Emily Esfahani Smith. So weird middle name, Esfahani, but it's kind of hot. Esfahani Smith. I've physically met her, so I don't know how good looking she is. But I'm imagining her brain is beautiful, so she's probably beautiful. Journalist and author of The Power of Meaning, Finding Fulfillment in a World Obsessed with Happiness. She says happiness is typically defined as a positive emotional state, this smiley face ideal. You know, it's like, I'm happy, I get it. People quote Aristotle as saying a good life is a happy life. But really, the Greek word that Aristotle uses in his teachings is eudaimonia, I think that's how you pronounce it, by the way. Eudaimonia, I don't know. Better translates to flourishing and happy. Flourishing is living a virtuous life where you pursue excellence in your work, relationships, and community. Smith advocate for the pursuit of a meaningful life rather than chasing happiness. So, fulfillment out of helping people. It's true. In fact, I just did a post on that a couple of days ago on what I think it is to be happy, or if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, what can people expect of you? They're actually healthier and they live longer too. People who believe their lives are meaningful have less of the brain plaque associated with Alzheimer's disease, and they're less likely to develop cardiovascular disease. Nice! Because I feel good about myself. I'm glad we're all on the same page here. So what does it take to create meaning? That's the million-dollar question. One of the key aspects of a meaningful life is transcendence. Those rare moments when you step outside yourself and feel connected to a higher reality. It might happen on a trip to the Grand Canyon, or while you're meditating, or sitting in church. Transcendent experiences exist on a wide range and they can change you. So she starts to get out there a little bit, right? But it's true. I go to church because I feel that what I consider the Holy Spirit. It's God's voice telling everybody they're in the right place at the right time, and to listen what you need to and get the living word, which is the change in you hear what you need to out of it. That's why they call it the living word. Also, I meditate. Also, I go to different meetings. I watch videos on people that are trying to become better. I watch TED Talks on people that are trying to become better. And I'm just around good people, you know? And we try to help each other out by giving each other advice and such. So there's lots of ways you can help people. Monetarily, I'm not the most helpful person. In fact, more people are helping me than I'm helping them. But as far as conversation goes, I got you, dog. I got you. So there's that going on. But altogether, Emily knows what she's talking about. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, do good things. Here's something that I actually brought up to someone, is that because they had brought up a quote, and this is what I posted. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, don't expect a effing thing from anybody. So if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, don't have any expectations. And that's true. I 100% agree with that. What I also think, though, is what can people expect of you? If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, the expectation of you or the idea of you should be a positive position. And I think that will make you happy for the rest of your life. So how loving, compassionate, courageous, funny, personable, all those different things that create a person, how many of those characteristics and traits do you carry with you? So if they can expect you to be those things, you're probably going to be happier for the rest of your life. I'm just saying. So back in the day, we worked 9 to 5. Then it became 8 to 5. Now the regular office workday can begin before the sun rises and end when it's dark, even in the summer. All work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy. So these guys came up with what they think is the cure-all for the work-life balance. Ready? Even in the summer, this is all happening, right? Because summer hours are long. That's what they're getting at. All work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy, not to mention Jill. So achieving that ever-elusive work-life balance becomes critical. The best way to do so is to exercise. That's the word for researchers at St. Leo University, and St. Louis University, University of Houston, Victoria, and Illinois State University. 4 universities came up with this brilliant idea, who have concluded that exercise affects how we feel about our work-life balance. Conflict between work and home can be categorized in 2 ways. Work interference with family describes typical job-based pressures that can lead to interferences of family time, be it psychological or actual time spent away from the family due to work. Family interference with work is when personal issues find a way into the workday and compete with work time. Individuals who exercise regularly were more confident they could handle the interaction of their work and home life, and were less likely to be stressed at work. I don't like the idea of, if you want your work, home life to balance, you need to exercise more so that you get to work earlier, you know what I mean? And so you're healthier and more energetic at work. Because we're not going to shorten your work day at all. What we're going to do is give you a longer work day and expect you to exercise to make up for the fact you're sitting all day in the office. Or especially if you work construction or something like that, I can't even imagine going and exercising afterwards. So to me, this is like the dumbest advice I've ever heard. Now, exercising is good for you, and if you have time for it, do it. But to tell someone to their face, you spend too much time at work, now go spend some time at the gym and then come home and see your family. What? That just seems rude, like right out the gate. What kind of monsters are you? Anyways, I think it's the worst advice ever. If you like it, take it. Go exercise. Spend as much time away from home as you can. That makes you happier. Go be happy, dog. So here's a little story about the worst roofing company ever. All right. Meanwhile, in Spring Hill, Tennessee, Belinda Hungate, I hope it's Hungate, woke up to what sounded like workers tearing the roof off of her house. That's because workers were tearing the roof off their house. But this is the best part. It was really shocking and surprising that somebody was out there just tearing apart a house. Or tearing apart our house, she says. I'm yelling, stop, stop, and nobody was listening to me. She says a language barrier complicated things and the men kept working. So she called her husband. Hungate says he called the police, and after talking with the crew, supervisors learned the roofers were supposed to be in Murfreesboro. So not only were they at the wrong house, on the wrong street, in the wrong city. How do you get the wrong city? I mean, I get cities all blend together and stuff, especially if you're in Southern California and whatnot. But the wrong city altogether is ridiculous. I mean, you know, this actually says two things. One, these guys weren't paying attention to what they were doing at all. Should have knocked on the door. People were inside the house, you monsters. And two, we need to come up with more creative street names. I'm just saying. Alright, so this story is unbelievable. A Palo Alto couple in their 70s had been missing for 9 days since they left their rental cottage on Valentine's Day. It was Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen. By Saturday, the rescue effort had officially shifted to a recovery operation. Even the couple's son was doubtful his parents would be found alive after 7 nights in the woods, where temperatures dipped into the 30s. And remind you, these people are in their 70s. So, all these guys got together, including Quincy Webster, an 18-year-old volunteer with the Martin County Sheriff's Search. And he said, we started crashing through the brush as much as possible. We were yelling to them to hold on, we're coming. They found the couple lying on the ground and holding hands. Holding hands. That is the cutest thing ever. I like this couple. You know, if they're gonna go down, they're gonna go down together. They're just laying there. Hey, what are you gonna do? They left the house, of course, without their phones, without their cameras, without anything. They just mobbed on out there. So the odyssey started in the late afternoon on February 14th when the couple, who are avid hikers, set out to catch a glimpse of the sunset with plans to be back in 15 minutes. They left their wallets and phones behind. I don't know why wallets matter, but phones definitely matter. But the brush is so thick in those parts, they couldn't find their way back. With the moon waning and the thick canopy of pines and oaks overhead, darkness fell early and the couple was quickly lost. They drank from a muddy puddle and ate fern fronds. They had seen the lights of a house about 1,000 feet in the distance, but didn't have the strength to get there when they were finally found. That sucks, dude. Can you imagine being 70 and being put in that situation? However, they survived it. The firefighters got there 7 days. 7 days. They're probably like, well, I mean, if there's a way to go, I guess in the forest and nature, we get to, you know, freeze to death. That's miserable. I'm so proud of those people. Like, in your 70s, you live in the forest for 7 days. I couldn't even go camping for 7 days. That sounds miserable, but living in the forest and all you can drink is muddy water and eat, what is that, palm fronds or fern fronds or whatever a fern frond is. I mean, you're not catching rabbits at 70, I'll tell you that much, or birds or anything for that matter. I doubt you can even throw a rock that far. Yeah, actually, my mom's in her 70s and she's pretty active. I think she could probably hit a rabbit with a rock if she really needed to. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I salute them. They are an awesome couple and I wish them the best in this life. I know they'll probably never hear me say that, but that is amazing, man. And I hope that if I'm in my 70s, I'd be able to pull off something like that, but I doubt it. Anyways, thanks for being part of my experience. It's Big K Experience in the Spilt Milk Show with the Beat.